My hobby is mountain climbing and climb various mountains throughout the year. On that day, I went out with my climbing friends to climb Mount T in a certain prefecture. Although Mount T is not so high, it is famous for its steepness. Therefore, many of the climbers on Mount T are experienced persons. At that day, we started climbing Mount T in the early morning. We have been climbing for a long time, so it was not too difficult to reach the summit. At the summit, we took several photos, ate the lunch we brought from home, and enjoyed the very beautiful view. When we were about to start talking about going back down, a boy came up to us. By the looks of him, he was probably a boy of about 7 or 8 years old. Why would I have a little boy all by himself on such a steep mountain peak? I wondered. I asked the child, "What the matter? Where's your mother and father?" "Mom and Dad are over there," he said, and he pointed toward the path down the mountain. It seems that the mother and father had gone down the mountain without the child. How could they do such a terrible thing to a small child in such a steep mountain? We said to the child, "Let's go down the mountain together," and he nodded his head in agreement. But there was something strange about the child. He is so lightly dressed. He is wearing short pants even though it is a steep mountain. For a person who enjoys mountain climbing, it was insane. As we descended the mountain, we asked the child about many things. "Did you come here today with your mother and father? Did you climb the mountain dressed like that?" We asked him questions one after another, but gradually he became quiet and stopped talking. We regretted that we had been so unkind to ask such a small child so many questions. On the way down the mountain, the child started to complain that his leg hurt. When we looked at him, we saw that he had injured his knee. We hurriedly stopped the bleeding, bandaged the wound, and administered first aid to the child's injury. But something was still strange. The child had been walking with us just a moment ago, but there should have been no leg injured at that time. But suddenly he started saying that his leg hurt, and we looked at him. We saw that he was badly injured. At that time, we felt a little weird, but he was still a small child. We could not leave him alone. We took turns carrying the child on our backs and continued our descent. But even here, I continued to feel strange. The child was not warm at all. Even when we carried him on our backs, I couldn't feel human body heat on my back. It was as if I was carrying a stone on my back. And even though I was carrying the child on my back, I couldn't hear his breathing. I couldn't help feeling so scared. In the meantime, we arrived at the lodge on the way down the mountain. We decided to take a rest there. First of all, we had to take care of the child's injuries. At the lodge, we took the child off our backs. But the child got up and walked out of the lodge, even though his legs were supposed to hurt. We immediately followed him, but for some reason, the child was nowhere to be seen around the lodge. It was as if he had disappeared without a trace. As we hurriedly searched for the child, the owner of the lodge asked us what was wrong. We were in a panic looking for the child, and the owner of the lodge asked us what happened. We told him everything that had happened up to that point. After the lodge owner finished listening to us, he silently went into a back room. He then presented us with a photograph. It was a child we had come down the mountain with. However, the picture seems to be an old one, and we guessed that it has been quite a long time. He said he is the one who has lost on this mountain. He lost his mother and father at the top of the mountain, and by the time the search team found him, he was already dead. This picture was used during the search. I was part of the search. Stories like yours happens a few times a year. I bet the spirits of that kid is still looking for his parents. I really feel sorry for him. Please go and offer incense to help him to go to heaven. The owner of the lodge told us. The child was still wandering around the mountain, wanting to see his mother and father. After I heard this story, I felt so sorry for his spirit. We offered incense and prayed for the child's repose at the memorial to the deceased near the lodge. Since then, I still go up to Mount D. But I have not seen his spirit again. I wonder if he might have met his beloved mother and father in heaven.